Hey friends, it's Stephanie here, and I'm going to show you how to make this truly gorgeous spring summer centerpiece using just a few items. I have a boxwood bush from Walmart. I have lavender from Walmart. And I only needed one of these boxwoods for this project. And of course, you can get boxwood from just about any floral greenery store. I'm also going to be using some jute twine, and it's a little bit thicker twine, and an 8-inch ring. So the ring I purchased from Dollar Tree. You can also find those as from Walmart as well. And of course, I brought in a candle to show you what this is going to look like for the finished product. So this 8-inch ring, we're just simply going to take it and we're going to start adding some jute twine around the ring. This will require a glue gun, but to start this project, I actually took the jute twine and I went on the outside of the ring and tied a small knot at one of the crossbars. Now, just because I don't want it to shift, we're actually going to put a point of hot glue at this position. So rather than get hot glue on my cutting mat, I am going to bring out this box. I do want to let you know, I actually had someone mention that even though these boxes are free, that they're not to be misused. However, this box in particular was damaged and I could not ship with it. So I'm using it as to repurpose it basically. So I'm going to add some hot glue just right there at the joint where the jute twine meets the wire frame, and just let it cool for a moment so that we can prevent it from shifting as I start to add more. Now we're just going to take my ball of jute twine and we're going to start wrapping that twine around our frame. If you'll watch, I do wrap it kind of close together next to the twine before. And I actually realized after I started doing this that it was much easier to cut off a piece rather than keep using the same huge ball of twine. But either way, it went very well. So I just cut off a long piece and it was much easier to work with. So I'm going to continue to do that around each section of the frame. At the end of each section, I did separate it and knot it off, and then applied some glue where I ended. So we're going to repeat that process for each section of the frame. Now that we have all the sections completed, I'm finishing it off again with a little bit of glue. So this is what my frame looks like at this point. The wrapping of the twine does not have to be exactly precise. You'll notice that there's a few gaps in there, and actually that's going to come into our favor as we start to do this next portion. So these lavender bushes that I purchased from Walmart, I am going to actually cut them into little sections. So I placed the scissors underneath my frame because the glue was still wet and I didn't want it sticking to my mat, by the way. So we're going to cut this bush off into, each stem off into its own section. Now we're also going to do the same thing with the boxwood bush. We're going to cut each stem individually and have those ready. So now we should have our lavender cut into sections and our boxwoods cut into sections. The boxwood was actually very large and I ended up having some left over because I wanted the lavender to be the main focal point. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my lavender, and off to the side of the camera, you can't see, I have a glue pot where I have melted hot glue, and I'm placing hot glue on the stem of that lavender, and I'm sticking it down in between the jute roping that we just added. So in between each one of those, and I shouldn't say each one of those, we're actually going to add lavender and space it accordingly about every other space. And we're going to intermix that with some occasional boxwood. You'll begin to see, just by adding the little bit of lavender and boxwood here at the beginning, how stunning this is going to look. And of course, as always, a personal preference. If you want more lavender or more boxwood, you would adjust accordingly. I am a big fan of the lavender, and so you'll see that I actually applied more lavender and used the boxwood as accents. So you're going to continue and rotate this process all the way around this 8-inch frame that you've wrapped with the jute twine. Now that we've gone completely around the frame, now you can see that visual of the intermix of the lavender sprigs along with the boxwood. And I love the fresh look of the greenery and the boxwood mixed together. You'll notice that the flow of the boxwood is all going into, the boxwood and the lavender are all going into the same direction. That's going to be very important as you are progressing on your design or your centerpiece. Now we're going to take my candle, and you'll notice that because of how we created this, there is an opening in the center of this. So we're just simply going to take a pillar candle, and we're going to place that in the center of our wreath or centerpiece. But truly, it is a wreath. And there you are. This actually looks stunning on my dining room table. I have it set up right now for spring, and I interchange what I put in the center of it. I'll show you a photo here at the end of a different item. Instead of the candle in the center, I used a piece of my Rae Dunn spring collection, and it looks adorable too. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure to follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel.